Hey, I never thought I'd be witnessing anything so crazy, at least not this soon in my life. Not this soon right now. I mean, what I'm seeing right now is mobs of people. They are mobs of people spouting profanity and hate and violence, and they're putting this profanity all over everything. And from what I can see, what I see right now in the news, from what I can see, they're demanding the law enforcement be replaced by something else. They said we need to replace the law enforcement. Replace the police officers, who are, mind you, apparently majority supporters of this administration. And they said we need to replace them with, get this, liberal-minded individuals. We need to replace them with something completely different. So now that makes sense. Take the very last part that hasn't been infiltrated politically and infiltrate it and control it. And then they got up and stated that the hashtag BLM, I'll shorten it, BLM, and you know what that hashtag is. I'm trying not to cause any controversy. The hashtag BLM, they discovered that every company, when you support and pay donations to that hashtag, the Black Lives Matter hashtag, when you support that hashtag, apparently all this time they said they're now putting that money toward defunding the police. So if they put that money toward defunding the police and replacing it with liberal and control, this is the most absurd thing I've ever heard of. I mean, anyone else, people should be protesting against this, but yet are you allowed to? No. I guarantee you in a few years, if we try to protest an administration that is trying to overstep its boundary and overstep its rights of control in a way that we find totalitarian, we'll be knocked down like rotten fence posts, broken apart like shards of glass or rotten wood, or anything easily breakable, like a piece of paper. So now apparently the hashtag BLM, the money is now going toward defunding the police. Isn't that interesting? And replacing them with a liberal type of control. Isn't it just, it's just so, this whole thing was a gimmick from the very start. It's frustrating to see the darkness, the dark side, be able to try and control and manipulate things like it does. The evil side. But let me tell you something. Love will persevere. The love from the Lord, the light of the Lord, I mean, these things that the hate, the violence, the rioting, it's all a product of madness. It's all a product of chaos, mind control, and manipulation. There should have been just a day of appreciation toward that individual, justice against those officers, which, by the way, looked like mind-controlled drones. Those officers that committed the heinous act on that individual looked like they were mind-controlled, like soulless drones. Draco-controlled, they were just some kind of, they looked like mean and evil. Do you hear anything about those officers' families? I haven't heard anything about those officers' families. I haven't heard anything about their loved ones. I haven't heard anything. Usually when an officer is arrested and they're put away, usually you hear the family talking. I haven't heard anything about the family speaking. I haven't seen anything about their family. Who is their family? And lastly, when you remove law enforcement, now they're calling it racist to call a police officer. Folks, I don't even know what to say anymore. They're calling it racist to mention anything. Anything. And now they're also calling it racist to call the police when someone does a home invasion. They said when someone does a home invasion, they call the police. I was watching this on the news, people. The news. And you know what? It's probably not doing a bit of good to spout all this, to share all this, because those who are watching this or looking this up are probably already well aware of the situation and already feel the same way I do, or they wouldn't be watching it. You're never going to change someone's mind when they're already filled with that much bullcrap. Bull to the crap. But back to this, I mean, I understand, Mr. President, and the White House being appalled by this whole defund the police, and Kelly McEnany, I think that's her name. I understand. They're calling it racist now and I'm not making this up, this is true, you can look it up. They're calling it racist to call the police when someone does a home invasion, when someone tries to rob you, when someone is taking your stuff, because they feel that they are entitled to be able to take your stuff because they've been oppressed for 400 years. I'm not oppressing anyone. I don't hate anyone. I never owned slaves. My ancestors never did. My family never did. My family has come from poor living. We've never harmed anyone. Never dreamed of harming anyone. We've never... Heck, I've even dreamed of past lives, and they told me to do horrible acts, and I said, I can't do this. I'm not going to. And then the dream ended. The general was giving orders. They said, you have to do this, and I said, I can't. That's what the dream I had. That was the dream I had. I don't know if it was a past life or if I was just dreaming it, but still, either way, I couldn't do a heinous, violent act. We're barely making ends meet. I don't, and never have, harmed anyone in my life. Never plan on it. And I had nothing to do with those barbaric acts in the past. I have no privilege above anyone else. What they're calling white privilege. What the crap? I'm struggling just like every single other person. We're all struggling in this same boat, in this existence, trying to get by. And then all of this happens. We're just trying to make it, just like they are, just like anyone else is. As a matter of fact, I see a lot of government benefits that have been going to any individual that's not Caucasian, that's not white, for the past several years, until this administration. And now everyone's having to work for what they, and then you've got this defund the police, which now the hashtag defund the police and hashtag the Black Lives Matter hashtag is supporting, apparently, defunding the police. So that means that all these companies, major companies, all of them that support it, are also supporting defund the police. So they can bring a control back into the way they wanted it. Bring control back into the police. Rig the system so this president does not make it again. And then they're saying that it's racist to call the police now when someone... They're just making a lawless nation. That's it. So who actually runs this nation? Just like Tucker Carlson just said. And Sean Hannity say. Fox News was saying, who runs this nation right now? And they're making people bow. I will never bow to anyone except Jesus Christ. Like my mama said even. I'm never bowing to anyone but one person, and that is Jesus Christ. And I put that on my life. I'm not bowing down to any human being. I'm not bowing down to anyone and acting like I'm worshiping anyone except for Jesus Christ. That's that. They're making people worldwide get on their knees, bow down, and they're going up to white people. The videos they're not showing on the news. And people are going up to white people and saying, I would like you to apologize. This one nurse. And they asked her, I'd like you to apologize. And she's like, what's going on? And he said, I want you to apologize for your white privilege. And she just, but yet I see a lot of scholarships. I see a lot of benefits. Medical benefits. Medical care has been given to a lot of foreign individuals. Is it a crime to say foreigner now? I don't even know. But a lot of medical benefits have been given to people of other ethnicities besides Caucasian ethnicity, besides white. And I've seen it all the time in the hospitals, in the doctor's offices in the past. They were filled with other ethnicities. But we couldn't afford to get medical help and still can't. That's the way it's been for a long time. So I don't see any oppression by the system taking place much. I haven't seen any, to be honest with you. It seems to me like things turned around quite a bit. And things came a long way. And I've even seen a lot of people of all kind of ethnicities around in our area just in the past few days say, just as things were starting, people, come on, why? Please, people were just starting to get along. We just finally got through this and people were starting to get along again. And this has to happen. And the kindest black people and the kindest Mexican people and people were just being so nice, and I appreciate it, and I was nice to them. I'm always nice to them. And then the paradigm shifted, and a few days ago people started acting very shifty and hateful, some of them, and they were looking at you like they were just ready to start a riot. And it's just ridiculous. People, get along, be nice, be kind, respect each other, love each other as yourself. I mean, don't stop listening to this hate-fueled propaganda. But back to what I was talking about a moment ago, it's now apparently, according to the news, it's racist to call the police when someone is robbing you because they've been oppressed for so long. And our white privilege is a crime. What privilege? What privilege? My daddy's a truck driver, works very hard from moment to moment to make ends meet. My family, my parents, we've always struggled and really difficultly to make ends meet. They grew up on a farm. My grandparents, my grandfather, my mama's side, used to make 25 cents. 25 cents. A quarter for a day's work from sunup to sundown, working all day long on a farm. And that's all they made. That's what they made then. They got by on very little per week. Barely making ends meet. Just like we are today, barely making ends meet. Trying to get by. What privilege are they talking about? Yeah, some out there, like Jeff Bezos, why aren't they complaining about him? He's got privilege. Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk has privilege, but they don't like Elon Musk because he supports the president. And they've been together on their business ventures. Putin's got privilege. Bernie Sanders has millions upon millions of dollars. Biden has millions upon millions of dollars. Look at all the things he's done, and they still endorse him so they can get someone that they want in there, have a person that they want. They're going to bring them in there and make it exactly how they want. All right, back to that. They said it's racist to call the police now when someone does a home invasion. Someone tries to rob you. Someone takes things. And this one, he's an, if you want to call him African-American individual, he's a black individual, whatever. I forgot his name, but he is a guy that was interviewed by MSNBC. And he stated he changed his name a while back to a Muslim name because during the Obama administration, he changed his name to a Muslim name and was supporting Sharia law in the United States, and they want to bring that back. This is absurd, but they want to bring that back. Yeah. And they want to bring the, let's see, what was it? They want to get rid of all guns and all weapons, all forms of protection, so we're defenseless. And he said, what's the problem? He said, every time someone calls an officer, calls a cop, they're uncomfortable. There's already a conflict starting, because when you call a cop for a home invasion, the cop comes with a gun. The officers arrive with a gun. Doesn't mean they have to use it, unless necessary. Use force when necessary. Speak softly and carry a big stick. Teddy Roosevelt. Anyone? Remember? Theodore Roosevelt. But anyway, back to, which, by the way, that's where the name Teddy Bear came from. Teddy Bear came from Teddy Roosevelt. But anyway, it's now racist, apparently, to, they say, oh, if you call the police for domestic violence or a murder or a home invasion or someone taking stuff, because they said it's rightfully theirs to take. Really? It's rightfully theirs to take? I guess it's kind of like the government, the federal government. They own everything in existence, so they could take anything from your land anytime they want to. You can't pay your property taxes, well, they'll take your property. They take your home. They take everything. They'll repossess everything of yours, because you don't own anything. You're just renting it. You're just living here temporarily. You don't own anything. The Lord owns all, and He's going to take care of it. That's our last hope. Besides this administration, that's our last hope. But anyway, back to that topic. They say the reason why people feel uncomfortable with the police officers is because they are always carrying a gun. They said you call for a home invasion, they're carrying a gun. You call for domestic violence, they're carrying a gun. You call for a mentally ill person, and this guy was a black guy that defines as a Muslim now, apparently, said that he said you call for which Biden is planning on picking as one of his main cabinet members. This is absurd, but it's almost as, and then they said it's wrong to have a gun as the police to have a gun. Makes people feel uncomfortable. And first of all, when do people become so hurt by every little statement? Someone makes a simple statement and they have to get up and apologize and cry on the stand. It's just like, I'm sorry, I hurt my friend's feelings. I hurt my fellow colleagues' feelings. I hurt my employees' feelings. I hurt my fellow workers' feelings. Grow up. It wasn't even an offensive statement in someone. I mean, an offensive statement in someone finds it offensive. A few years ago, they'd tell you to grow up. Now, there are some things people say that are out of hate and malicious intent, and they're hurtful. Those things are wrong. You shouldn't do that. You should not make fun of someone. You shouldn't bully anyone. I don't agree with those things at all. But a few jokes or a statement here and there, that's not of malicious intent. But back to another statement. They want to remove all weapons, bring back the Sharia law situation. They want to bring, and you know, the fact that we are heading into the midpoint of that eclipse that's coming in 2023, we're heading to that, marking the 7 years. You know, I'm wondering, I really am. Then in the Revelation 12 sign that seemed to happen, and then you've got, back in September of that year, and then you've got the eclipse, and next year will be 3.5 years in the middle of the 7-year period. But I still feel I felt 2030, but maybe the time has been shortened. I don't know. All heck seems to be breaking loose. This has been the craziest year I've ever seen in my entire life. I love you all so much. If you support my channel, I don't know how much time we have left, but hey, every donation helps through the struggle. And maybe someday, if I gain enough, I'll be able to help donate to charity and stuff and help others out. And that's really what I want to do in life, help others out and spread a message of truth. We need a message of hope and unity in all of this craziness and division, but it's just, they just don't want that to happen. Prophecy in the works, I suppose. Peace and signing out. I love you all. I've got a lot more to talk about. I hope you listen through this entire video so you can get the whole message. You see, there's so much going on. Peace, signing out. I love you all.